these are some items that you might not get in your base pack, but ones that you can easily acquire and add in. So a shade like Null Oil is quite a nice one. It's like a black ink. It's very watery, so do make sure you don't drop it anywhere. And the contrast range. And contrast paints are a bit of a mix between a paint and a wash or ink. They're quite a nice texture and consistency, and they tend to go better over whites. They're designed really to go over whites. And with the slap top method, which we might do in another video, you can see how very quickly you can do colours. The idea is that they basically do all three stages in one. They do the base, the shade, and the highlight with one application. This one's Skeleton Horde. It's great for skeletons. In fact, my own daughter uses it on her skeleton army. And it's a nice light brown colour. And what we're going to use is, just to show you how it works, we're going to use it on the parchment here. Now, you could do the parchment in a very light tan brown, or a dark brown, light brown, and build up the layers until you got that. That would take you a while, and it would look good, but a quicker way is, as we say, just to do it in a white, or indeed a skeleton bone colour. Then we're just going to take one application of the contrast paint, and if you watch when I just push it straight on, it instantly does all the shading and the highlighting in one stage. So it runs into the crevices, stays off the raised areas, and gives you that parchment effect pretty much instantaneously. Pretty nice that. Now, with this brown, you can also use it. It's actually quite good on metals and browns. So if we just test it here, we can put it over the gold. And of course, gold will do quite nicely with brown washes. So we can just run a bit of that around the gold areas, and that sort of deepens the gold effect a little. What I might do is just put it a bit on the Aquila as well. It might run into the gaps and just sort of dirty it up a bit, but also sort of warm the colour up a little. So let's put that on the belt buckle there as well, and just round the back here. There we go. Quick and simple that. It looks quite nice. Now, for the other areas, we're just going to give it a quick run over with some Null Oil. And that's literally just to do the shading. So again, it's very runny. It's more of an ink than a paint. What we're going to do is literally just run it into any of the recess areas, just to help contrast the highs and lows. So in this case, I'm going to just run it around these edges of these armour plates like that. Around the backs here, and again you see it basically runs into the crevices and runs off everywhere else. We'll use any of the areas where you've got that flexible, almost hose-like under armour. We'll put it under that bit there, under that bit there, and I'm just going to run it around there. You see it'll run into the detail and stay off the top. Now you can also run it like that, and then gently just run your finger off it to wipe the excess off. And you get quite a nice detail effect. See how that really makes some of the details pop quite well. Now I'm going to put some over this metal piece at the back here, so it looks like worn and warmed. And again, around the vents that we spoke about earlier. And I'm just going to put some around here, just to help pick out the details and the hose parts of the armour. We can just paint that onto there. That will do all our shading and highlighting for us. It's a bit lazy, but again, we're looking for quick tabletop standard. I'm just going to run it around those panels there, and on the underside of his hand, underside here, underside of the armour, and we're going to run it around the knee guard, the knee pad, like that, just to again help with contrasting the shade, and underneath the bits of the feet there as well. That'll do. You'll be a bit careful. You can just sort of splosh it all on and hope that it does work, but really it's a case of, if you paint it in carefully, pin lining I think some people call it, if you paint it in carefully, it gives quite a nice effect. And we can put a bit on the gun as well. Let's put some over the raised detail edges, and in the bit where the bolt is ejected, put some around the barrel at the end as well, just to sort of warm the colours up a bit and blend everything together. Put some on that scope. There we go. And what we're going to do is put a little bit on his face. We're going to keep away from the eyes, but just put it around the vents on the faceplate there. Again, just inside here. We'll do. Oops, sorry, I'll try to show you. So here. Now, remember, we just need to tidy up that edge there. We'll do that as well. So let's put some around the edge of the backpack and on any recessed areas of the backpack as well. And you know what? I think we could probably say that this, aside from some basing, is ready to take his place on the battlefield. Just get a little bit of blue and just re-edge that bit there. We can neaten and tidy up that area like that. Also just adds a little to the edge highlighting around the throat guard there. It just helps draw the attention more into the face area. Now again, you can start doing some extra highlights here. So on the, we get the light blue and go back to the light blue and just do along the edge of this piece of armour here, just to really see where the sharper edges of the armour might be. Just pick out tips of his fingers, again, just lightly dry brush that across the top. And any edges of any armour plate. Again, that thumb that we missed before, there we go. Tops of these bits here. And edges of any armour plates here. And all these top bits of the knee protectors. It can be done very, very, very bright blue, really, just to show how they pick out around the groin guard, the belt buckle, and maybe around the tips of the toes. Hope he's got his steel toe caps on. Health and safety is not an accident. Let's just put a bit more on there, just re-highlight that a little. Right, it's gone a little bit darker. There we go. I'm pretty happy with that. All told, pretty decent effect for around about an hour's worth of work. Now, once it's all dry, you could actually put a little bit of black ink or a shade just in the eye sockets, just around to help with the highlighting. Let's just put that on there. It shouldn't do too much, like that, just to pick them out. And for a very basic dry brush, I'm really quite pleased with him. So that is going to be it for now. We'll simply do a dry brush on the base. As you see, where it's caught with the blue, the first thing we'll probably do is just, again, re-blacken it. So we'll just get the black. And at this stage, you can be a little less precious with it. You can just splodge the black back in, and then we'll get probably a grey and then a lighter grey. Again, maybe just your normal black with white. Also, using contrast on bases works rather well. You could paint all this a light brown or a white, and then go over it in a light brown, in a brown contrast, or the grey contrast, or a black contrast, just to pick out the details. Obviously, that's with a textured base like this. You could also use, some bases come plain, and you could cover it in PVA glue with some sand, some flock, and there's incredible amounts of basing materials out there. You can get alien-esque plants, rocks, stones, crystals, gems, skulls, whatever you fancy. One thing I would say is don't go too mad on the basing, because an overdone base can detract from the model. So try and keep it themed. Keep it themed within your army. So if you do a certain style of basing, make sure if you're doing a squad, all the bases match. At least if you're doing a basic colour and sand and flock, and that'll really tie any unit together and tie an army together and look really good. So we'll do that, and then we'll put up the final picture and see what we're up to.